Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Man, Soul, the Spirit. I'm one of your hosts, Miguel.
And I am Dustin.
Hope everybody's having a great and wonderful day today. If you are a first time listener, we thank you for checking us out. We hope that you like the content. If you are a returning listener, we also want to say thank you. And we also, for your support, and we hope you're liking the content as well. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe and leave us a message. We'd like to hear from you. So if there's anything that you want us to go over, any questions you have or anything, go ahead and do that. We'll get back to you the moment that we can. Dustin, we
Yeah.
had today's gonna be a little bit run a lot differently than normal.
Yes.
And why is that?
So the reason that we're going to be running this a lot differently is because this is going to be a update slash recap. Um, so the update part of this is that we are starting uh this week coming up. Um, we will no longer have a series available for you guys. And the reason for that is because we feel as if God has placed us into a different um era of the ministry, I guess you could say.
What?
Um we're moving from the place that we used to be in into this new part of the ministry that God has allowed for us to be in. And so season 2, we're coming back for season 2, but you guys won't be getting any like new 1 through 6 episodes, 1 through 4 episodes. You'll get like mini spurts here and there of like where just to kind of keep the flow
You'll
of
hear from us.
yeah,
They'll
like
be mainly updates, though.
yeah, but it won't be like
Series.
it won't be a big series. Now granted, we do have some big series that are coming in season 2.
But we have some really cool things coming up. God is restructuring um,
A lot.
a lot. He's doing a lot of things, and so we have a lot of exciting news when it comes to the podcast itself. And
Yes.
I'm going to say, Dustin, to go ahead and give him the basics of it. I would like to, after you're done telling them what can they expect when we come back with season 2, and then let's get into the why.
So what to expect in season 2 is we are going to be revamped completely.
What?
Um, we are going to be, you'll be able to look us up on YouTube, and I mean, granted, you can do that now, but when you look us up on YouTube, you'll be able to see us,
Us.
our full face,
Yes, you'll
face,
know.
body, everything.
And
Like,
of course, some of you have already went on to uh, the website, and you've seen us, but we're going to be able to do some video.
yes,
Finally, insert applause, and I want to be able to do that too. Uh,
yeah,
so you'll be able to see us on video, which is going to be a really big step. It's something that me and Dustin have been wanting to do for a while now,
hmm
and we're just really happy that we're going to be able to do it.
yes, definitely. So, I mean, at the end of the day, God's doing a lot of things. And at the same time, I think season 2 not only it puts us in a new direction for the ministry, but it also allows a lot more time on our hands from what I'm being led to say. I don't know what God means by that. That kind of just came into my head. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
But yes, there will be a lot more time on our hands to be able to do a lot more things. So we'll figure out how that goes as time goes.
Absolutely.
But no, season 2, you'll expect the video of us. You'll expect a brand new and revamped website. Um, and you will there will be memberships. Um, the memberships are not for the gospel. You are not paying to get the gospel,
No.
mind you.
We will
Um,
never, ever,
yes.
ever charge for somebody to hear Christ or biblical teaching that could
Yeah,
bring them closer to Christ or to walk more godlike. We
definitely.
will never charge for that. You know,
Yeah.
we that's just not in our nature. That's not something that I believe that the Lord has asked any of us to do. In fact, when I think of people having to pay for the gospel, I think of what Jesus said that you turned my house instead of a house of prayer, but to a den of thieves.
Mm,
Because it is a free gift
yeah.
to all mankind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. But yes, so back to the memberships, they will not include the gospel, but they have other big things. Um, things that we're not going to release just yet. Um, that is for season 2. That's going to actually be there'll be a whole might be a whole big trailer. You never know.
ba-da-da.
Um, but we're doing a lot of things. We're connecting with trying to connect with a lot of churches. Um, and I mean, at the end of the day, the only reason we're here is because of God.
What?
And so the next thing that uh you guys will get on the website is members tabs. So you'll have memberships where you can, you know, it's not $100 a month. It's gonna be like 5, 10, 15 bucks. Depends. We
Right.
haven't worked out the prices yet.
And it'll just be behind like behind the scenes content.
Yep.
Uh, more. Uh, I guess extended versions
Mm-hmm.
um
Of the
of the
podcast.
podcast
Yeah.
and special things like that.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, that's all that's really going to be in there. Granted, there's going to be other things, of course, but we are not ready to explain that yet.
No.
Um, and so so season 2 is officially launching on July 1st. You will be getting season 2, of course, of the podcast. You'll be getting a revamped ministry, a revamped website, and a store launch. Um, which is going to be uh which is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a little bit it's at first it's going to be a little difficult. I'm not going to lie. I mean, cuz online store is a little different from, a physical store. But bear with us as we work the kinks out. I mean, we're going to release a polished product, but at the same time, if there's hiccups, if there's glitches, you you really don't know unless you post it. So, as far as that, that's all that's going to be in July. There's some other things in September and um what was it? September, November, and December. But those are later on. Those will be released as season 2 goes. So, but
Yeah.
how do you think we got here? Where do you think how did we get here?
So here's the thing. So we are doing a season kind of early, right? So we're what, 36 episodes in?
This will be the 36th.
Yeah, so 36 episode, and I really do think that it is the end of an era, which came rather quickly. Really surprised. It started off 2 and 3 years ago
Mm,
is when it started, and was when Mantle of the Spirit Ministries became a thing. Although you guys didn't know it as Mantle of the Spirit Ministries, that was a name that God gave me that I kept under wraps, and instead some people knew us by Brothers of the Kingdom, and we loved Brothers of the Kingdom. It was a wonderful experience, for us to get our feet wet. We've never really did things like this before, and we ran. We messed that up.
yeah, we did.
Like we messed that up, guys, and like we'll be the ones to exactly tell you. And Um, we had lost
Friendships.
friendships. We
We lost relationships
Yep, we lost relationships. We completely ended up living
the wrong way.
in contrary of, yeah, in contrary of what, the Bible speaks about. We let go of our faith. We were in the world, and um we weren't quite ready to leave it.
Yeah.
And with God, there is no partiality. And so that came to a big halt. Dustin and I stopped communicating and talking um,
Mm-hmm.
for a while, and we tried to find ourselves separately
Yeah.
and in the world. And well, glory be to God, we weren't able to find ourselves in the world anymore. We didn't identify as much as I think that we wanted to, because we were mad. We were mad at the decisions that we made. We were mad that everything came tumbling down, and so we said, okay, well then I just won't do it at all.
Yeah.
And we ran from the call, and we went the other way, and we allowed influences to come in, and we allowed people to, persuade, and uh we even persuaded our own self, if we're being honest, that no, I'm truly happy living this way. I don't need brothers of the kingdom. I don't need a ministry. I don't need God. um
I know I said that.
I know I said that too. And so fast forward to, was it January
What?
of this past year?
What, of 2024 or 2025?
2025.
Oh, okay. Uh, yeah. Well, no, mantle, it had been talked about when,
When did
like,
you bring it up to me?
I brought it up to you restarting the podcast at the end of 2024, like the last 2 weeks of 2024, and you told me I don't know.
And what the even crazy thing is, the funny thing is we came back into contact
Over some stupid stuff.
over some stupid stuff, and we had a conversation, and we looked past things. And so I came back around one time, and when we sat together, and uh during that time I was struggling. I was trying to walk through. You ever just really try and play yourself like God don't actually know your heart?
Yeah.
So you try to be part of this thing.
Yeah.
And you try like, oh yeah, no, no, I'm following God and I'm part of his will. And God's like, dude, no, you're not. Your heart is so far from me.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to, and I went over there, and God spoke, and like he definitely did, and I was being mentored during that time through a good friend of mine, and um, I looked at Dustin, and you were rough, you were rough,
Yeah, I was
and I,
listen.
I was rough, but I looked a little bit more polished,
Yeah.
because like, but Dustin, the difference was, it was that I looked polished because I was trying to get myself to come back, even though my heart wasn't ready. And Dustin just all the way wasn't ready. Dustin was just like, nah, I don't
Yeah, that was at the
care.
end. That
That was
well, no, because we've been here. We've
no,
been
that
in
was
this.
at the apartment.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yes, so I came to him. We talked at the apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and even though we had worked through things,
It wasn't the same.
well, one, I remember you telling me you thought I still had, like, our friendship ended over stupid stuff,
Yeah.
over other people's crap.
Yeah.
Not because I felt some kind of way about him, or he like genuinely felt some kind of way like about me. Um,
It. I think what ultimately I'm gonna say this. Back in 2023. when me and Cass, yeah,
Was it 22 or 23?
it was 23. Because we didn't talk all of 2022.
So that was 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked away in 2021.
No, we walked away in 2022. So because that's when 2020 early 20.
Oh, we didn't talk at all for 2023,
Yeah, like we talked in 2023.
which is crazy because I thought about you all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I was always like, especially like for holidays.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I hope he's having a good, a good Christmas or like a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Like for 2023, because me and Cassidy lived in the apartment, and that's when the devil had me, boy.
What?
And we had come over that night, and you knew that it was bad. And we kind of just after that night, we kind of faded.
Y'all don't know it now, but it's just the process of finding what you believe. I before this, I tried every religion
Yeah.
that I could possibly try for myself. Like some religions, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not trying that.
Yeah.
I definitely don't believe in that. But I did the like Kabbalah thing, and I did the Buddhist thing, and I did it, and to see to see what I believed, and that's where you were. But Seb, he was like, Devil had him so bad because he was like sitting in your basement with a tinfoil hat kind of feeling. Like he was just like, you know what?
You know what?
Apple got that bitten apple. I don't trust it. That's Adam and Eve.
Listen,
And I was like, dude,
listen, all right,
you're a
no,
little far gone.
no, hold on. Let me explain myself. Let me explain,
Clear my throat.
please. No. So that night I had. This is back when, and this is not the gloat, but this is back when I smoked. Like,
Homie was to the moon
oh yeah,
and back. And
I smoked my feelings away. You straight up. I'll tell you that right now.
did I smoke with you?
We all did.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I did. See, because that's what I said.
Little man.
I was in it and not in it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, like I Christian, and he's like, yeah, you want to smoke? I was like, yeah, straight up, because I was also battling feelings.
Yeah. No, that's when little man wasn't there that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot we had sent him to mom's.
Yep.
But no, 2023 happened. We kind of faded in 2023. Like it wasn't like you hated me, I hated you.
No, I think if I recall correctly, we had a conversation about it, and it was just when we had walked away. We came back. You still felt like I felt some kind of way. He felt some kind of the way we ended. We didn't feel like bad toward each other. It was just a lot. It was a lot to take in the way we ended. So I think that we were like, okay, we're good. But I don't think either one of us wanted to test the limit all. I think that we were just happy to be good.
Yeah.
And so like
we weren't.
He wouldn't really call me. I wouldn't really call him. I don't think anybody wanted to push it.
Yeah.
We just got to the, hey, this is what happened. I'm sorry. Kind of briefly too. It wasn't even like an I'm sorry. It was just hey, hi, like we were testing each other out. Like how you feel. You hate me? Right? And then
we moved here.
We phased out. We completely phased out.
You kind of
Lord would have it that I help him move in first, and then he don't speak to me. But that's just just gonna leave that
there. Yeah. So I remember that. No,
don't talk to each other for about a year.
No,
until the last
we talked
couple months of that year, so maybe 9 months. We didn't talk to each other for about 9 months.
Like we had conversations, but they're not like it is right now.
No, we didn't have conversations up until the last few months of you moving to here.
Yeah.
That
was the switch.
We had completely stopped, and so
the switch for me back in 2023 was when I was working. I was working at a lightning protection company. I remember this. And I was working at a co- uh lightning protection company. We had just moved into this trailer or to this house, and um got everything all situated, got the house like real cheap, like not gonna lie, I granted back then I didn't pray for it like that. And God kind of came up big when no, actually I do take that back. No, hold on.
No, he wasn't ready.
No. Uh it was like the last I think we had 4 months left on our lease
Yep.
in the apartment. Yes. Okay, now
Hmm.
it's coming back. So we had, 4 months back or 4 months left in our lease, and I'm like, I'm wrestling with God at this point. I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. I'm freaking out. I'm, I'm just straight out geeking.
And come to find out,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna say this for you
Mhm.
because I want you to talk about it. So I'm gonna throw it out there so you can explain
Okay.
it. Come to find out, him and his wife
Mm.
was going through a lot. Just because he was going through a lot,
Yeah.
and she. I remember the three of us, we had the conversation, and of course I didn't know this until recently because we were talking about it. Where she was just like, "You need to calm down." She's like,
Yeah.
"Because you need to get back right with God, because this is not the man that I remember,
Yeah.
and this is not the man that I can be with."
Yeah. No, there was so um there'll be in season 2. I really want to dive into this. Um and
You think season two we can
yes,
be honest? Be honest. Be honest.
honest to be honest.
Yes.
Um and you guys might actually hear from Cassidy. You
All
never
right.
know. But no, so me and Cassidy, we had a long battle.
Yeah.
Um for like 3 months straight. Like it was bad. Like we'd be in our face screaming and cussing each other.
Toxic. Yeah.
Very toxic. And one night she straight up told me, she said, "You either figure yourself out because you are not the man that I want to be with. I, you know, I love you and I want to be with you, but if you're going to be like this and I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
Like you're breaking my heart because of the way that you are."
Yeah.
And
Because
and
she
that
told me. Because she told me. Because I had the wow factor. She was just like, because me and her had the conversation. Because she was like, I told him to call you, and I was like, what? She's
yeah.
like, yeah. She's like, I told him to call you. She said because she's like, you've always led spiritually, and back when we did do Brothers of the Kingdom and everything, and
Mhm.
she's like, I knew God had him in one hand, and God and the devil had him in the other,
Yeah.
and she's like, I was like, you need to figure this out, and you need to call him, and
Yeah.
he didn't want to call me. He was
No,
like, nah.
I straight up said no. And then that night, when she said, "Well, you need to figure it out because if you don't, then I'm gone."
Yeah,
And that's when God said, "Hey, I need you to wake up and realize,
what you about to lose.
yeah, because
All because and honestly, and we were both going through like different things during this time because I was going through my own stuff,
mhm,
and God was saying the same thing. Like, dude, like, is all of this worth because you want to be stubborn
mhm,
and you want to pretend like you don't remember what I did?
yeah,
Like, because we were running away from it. He
yeah,
was like, no, 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 you'll never forget,
yeah,
brothers of the kid. You'll never forget what happened.
yeah. I want to include too, though, when God got a hold of me that night,
Yeah,
and I was like, all right, I'm done.
yeah,
And this is right around the time that we're going to be losing the apartment. We went from paying $1,400 a month to almost 18, like that.
right,
And so I was like, all right, I'm making okay money. Not making I'm making enough to get me by.
right,
And I remember I was looking for a job. No, I wasn't. I kept wrestling with wanting to look for a job.
mhm,
because it's just like, Lord, I need this, I need this, I need a different house. I'm gonna need a house. I'm gonna either different house or an actual house or a different apartment. Like Lord, like
Right.
Lord.
Now,
Like
we're during that time, because like obviously, like everybody knows that baby Lee is on her way. We are what 3 months down?
yeah,
3 months down. And
she
we're
should
just
be here
waiting for
soon.
her arrival.
Yeah.
Um, were were you planning to have kids during that time? Like,
No,
was that on the mind that you
no,
would try soon, or
no,
that you want? No, none of it.
nope. I
Okay.
so in my wedding vows, I literally told my wife that the reason that we have Leah now is because of the fact that I had walked. I okay. Picture this with me, okay?
Sicily, 1969.
Yes. No. October 10th or October 19th, 2024.
Okay.
I'm standing there because you of course you married us. Um, we'll get into that,
What an
but
honor.
but
What a
I'm
great honor it
walking,
was.
right? I'm walking up to Miguel and everything, and it's like 5 seconds, and um, I can hear the music start coming, and Miguel said, "Hey, like you need to turn around." And homie, like when I tell you, and guys, if you can picture this with me, picture standing by a tree and God's spirit coming down and sitting or standing right next to you, putting his hand on you and saying, "From here on out, everything that cometh into your heart and anything that cometh into your life shall be from your Lord or
Yeah.
from your God."
Yeah.
Right? And I literally watched myself. God gave me the vision of this in the sky, bright as day, but it was dark as night.
Right.
Gave me the vision of myself walking to him and kneeling and worshiping him at his feet while
Yeah.
he sat on the throne.
Yeah.
Like that moment for me solidified everything.
Yeah.
That was the moment that I made the decision of I want kids,
Yeah.
I want to serve her, I want to serve God, and I want to be with God,
Yeah.
and I want to go to heaven
Right.
because as much as I've always wanted kids, but I never knew if I would have any,
Right.
and I
And you
didn't.
were obviously,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm fine. I was fine with my little boy.
yeah.
I was good, but that day when we got married, it broke me. And when I turned around and I looked at my beautiful wife, and I was like, I couldn't hold it. I fell straight up. I fell.
Honey.
Um, but no. So back to when Lord said when we were still in the apartment, and Lord said, just wait. I'm like, okay. Well, we have been looking for a house for 5 months because, or no, 4 months. No, was it 4 months? Because it was 11. It was an 11-month lease. So I think it was. We had 3 months left in the apartment. So we would have been looking for in a house for like month and a half to 2 months.
Right.
And when we got down to the last 3 months of 2024, or no, 2023. Or no, it was 24 because we got it. We got the apartment in 2023 of March of 2023, and our lease ended in, or no, we got it in May of 2023, and it ended in April of 2024.
Yeah.
So in February or January of 2024, we found this house,
Yep.
and uh, we bought it. We got it cheap. Only spent X amount of dollars. Got it real cheap. It was a nice older style home. We fixed it up. We put more money back into it. Um, and we signed, or no, when we bought it, we signed the papers in February. And we moved in March. March 16th of 2024. And that moment is when God said, am I not, or how are you going to declaim, or not choose me when I just gave you
Right.
a house? And I was like, okay, well, all right, I'll make the phone call now.
Yeah.
All right,
And
I accept.
it was crazy because it said, I remember I was sitting there, meetings, work, and lo and behold, my phone said Dustin Childs.
Sure did.
And I looked and I was like, ain't no way. And I almost didn't answer. And not because I felt any kind of way, it was more like an awkward,
Yeah.
I guess.
He answered that phone.
I
Don't
was
get
like,
him wrong.
man, I answered it. I was
He
very slow. I was like,
hello.
hello. I'm like, you know you called me, bruh?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey,
Hi, late.
what's up? And I was like, chilling. What's up? And he was like, yeah, man. How's everything going? I was like, it's fine. Like, and I'm thinking, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, because, and not like, yet again, not in a bad way, but just simply because we ain't talked
For almost a whole
for
year.
almost a whole year. And then even when we did talk, an almost a whole nother year went by. So it
Yeah.
was like 8 months went by after the
Yeah.
first time we saw each other. And so I was like, yo, what do you want? And then um he was just like, he's like, personally, I'm going through it. And I was like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, I
He's
remember
like,
that.
yeah. You know, he goes, cuz he just paused. He goes, how do I say this now? You always know what Dustin got some messed up, like not messed up, but like some deep stuff to talk to you about.
Yeah.
And he says, how do I say this?
Yeah. Not in a bad way. Just
He just wants to make sure that it's written perfectly. And he goes, he's like, I tried to act like we ain't see what we saw, we ain't done what we've done, and he's like, yeah. And I said, okay. I said, how's that working for you? And he's like, not good. Not good. He said, to be honest, not good.
no. I used some other choice words, but
I was like, yeah, too.
yeah.
And so we were talking. He's like, hey,
But that moment, I look back at that now, and I'm like, wow, that moment's the moment that it solidified everything.
it got to the point where like, so then we started talking once or twice a week.
Yeah.
We started talking every day.
Yeah.
Every lunch break,
Yep.
I'd hear him eating. So, what you doing? And
Oh
then we
wait,
had
I no. Go ahead. Sorry, because God just brought this back into my mind.
so
I, it's funny. He got us. He got me the house. He gave me the house.
yeah,
Got the friendship back. He started getting the friendship back together.
yeah,
And about that same time, I called you, and this is the time I was still looking for a job, mind you. And I called you 2 nights before I had, um,
you had an interview
yeah. And I said,
with your old job.
yeah. And I was like, Lord or Miguel, like, can I be honest? Can I be blunt? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I need you to come over.
Yeah,
And of course, being unsaved, we smoked because I needed to get some stuff off my chest. Like,
let me clear my throat.
yes. And so you came over. That's when you first seen the house. You and Jasmine came over.
Yeah,
And that's when y'all first seen the house. And I said that I didn't know. God is. I feel like I'm stuck at the job that I'm at, and I feel like
he said, but last time
Yeah. So like, how do I go about
about
this?
it. I was like, well,
Because told you I had like,
he's like, you are one of my best friends. He's like, no. He's like, because like you meant to be in my life. And look here, it's like, because I'm meant to be in your life. And honestly, I will. You know, regardless of what had happened. How much my boy.
yeah,
And so then he's like, hey, why don't you come back? Okay, so yeah, again. And I forget this. Yeah, we were drunk,
yeah, we were.
and this man looks at me on the couch. And mind you, I'm drunk.
No, hold on, because that one. What are you about this?
Uh-huh.
Well, hold on, because
Because we was lit.
yeah. So that was the next night.
Which
That wasn't
I
even
was
2
like,
nights.
how dare you
Yeah.
ask me such a question? Lit as can be.
We all got pretty tore up that night.
No, not all you.
That's right.
You.
No. So hold on before.
He could have partied no more. And he partied himself out while. And don't get me wrong. Yes, we were all lit, but he was like lit, like he hit the. He was done.
Yeah.
Like
But
not gloating and like in our evil, but like that's just. I want you like we were using the wrong tactics to like mask how we feel.
yeah,
Me and Dustin are at that point in time, our feelings like we were very happy to be back into each other's lives. I missed him, he missed me,
yeah,
but it was still awkward. So
yeah.
we were like, I
We
don't know how to.
the only way to
You want to
get
drink?
yeah,
and if we drink, we can talk.
and we cannot be
We
awkward.
could not be awkward.
You know, it's funny.
Horrible. Don't do that.
Yeah,
First of all, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, for God, even if it's not for God, that's not the way to deal with it.
No, not. Listen, but no, So that night we got pretty tore up. Well, I got pretty tore up. I went to bed, and then the next day, or y'all left. Next day, um, going to work, and no, I was coming home from work when this happened, and coming home, and um, this company calls me, or no, what was it? No, they didn't call. I was coming home, and I was sitting at a red light, and I was like, like, all right, cool, 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 scrolling through my phone, and get home and getting get getting home mode, getting dad mode. Nighttime comes around, little man goes to bed, and I'm like, all right, babe, I'm gonna go play my game for a little bit, and because it's back, this is back when I really played the game heavy. Like I played heavy, but not like that. Like we
Yeah.
had figured out some things, and I take a step back from playing my game like that, and I'm sitting here, and I get a text message from Indeed, and they're like, "Hey, somebody's trying to reach you." It's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Okay, let me make sure that this is true. Let me go to Indeed itself." And sure as crap, there was a guy that had messaged me, a little company, uh, and they had messaged me and said, "Hey, can you come in for an interview?" Yeah, when,
Yeah.
like straight up. And he's like, "You make it here 7 a.m. tomorrow?" I was, well, I have another job, blah blah blah. And um, he's like, "Okay, well, come in at 2 o'clock." Okay. So I text my boss, and I said, "Hey, like, I gotta leave. Where are we gonna be at?" He's like, "Orlando. Why? What's up?" I said, "Well, I gotta leave tomorrow by 12. I gotta be somewhere by 2 o'clock." He's like, like, "Where you gotta be?" I was like, "Homie, I ain't gotta tell you. Like,
No.
just no, I gotta leave." He's like, "All right, well, whatever." And he's like, "Well, okay. Um, Sorry, I had a brain fart for a second. So the next morning we go, we're working, blah blah blah. I just kept looking at the time, and I'm like, yo, like,
Wait to get there.
I can't wait because I can't, like, like
Right.
this looks like an opportunity. Like I don't know, and I'm freaking myself out. And Miguel Rose, that is crazy.
Listen,
I'm keeping that in there. I'm keeping that in there.
I was trying to like exit it out because I don't want to kill my phone battery. So I was like trying to exit out,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently I had the Wicked trailer. Yeah,
Look,
I like musicals. You
I'm
know,
not gonna
I
lie.
love it.
I'm not gonna lie. Wicked 2 looks kind of lit. Just saying.
Make it through one
Listen, but still,
Wicked. I love it, and yes, stop it. I know, people. It's witchcraft. It's this. That. Shut up. So like the thing is I've always been a Wizard of Oz fan. Love the Wizard of Oz to this day. So Wicked for me is the adaptation. I've always wondered, even as a kid, I was always been obsessed with like the Emerald City and all that. Because hello, we're going to a celestial city. Jesus is heaven, same thing. And so I always just thought that thought in my head. I was just like, dang, I wonder why she chose to be like that, whatever.
yeah.
And that's what Wicked was, and like for me. And so I've always, I do enjoy Wicked. I do 1,000%. But
But
anyway, let's get back to that. So like, yes, so you went to this job.
yeah, and so I leave my old job, and I'm heading to it. And I call you. I'm like, yo, I'm freaking out.
He's
like,
what do I do, dog? What do I do?
I'm like, I'm driving down I-4 doing like a $1.85, which is not, mind you, don't do that. Obey the law.
Right.
Even Jesus said that. But anyways, I'm doing like 85 miles an hour, just booking it because I'm excited. And I'd never been excited about a job before.
Yeah.
Never in my life. Never will happen. Probably ever again, other than ministry. But we're going, or I'm going, and I get there, and I talk to you. Took me an hour and a half to get there, and 1 hour and 15 minutes, really, because how bad I was speeding. But that's besides the point. Um, I get there, and I'm like, all right, I'll talk to you later. I'll let you know what happens. And I said, Lord, I got off the phone. I said, Lord,
I was in class too.
yeah, I know that's the bad part.
I was in class too, and my kids were going to PE. So once I got rid of once I got rid of my kids, it's just me. And what I do, I turn off the lights. I don't want to be bothered. Don't
Yeah,
come talk to me.
yeah,
If it's something from the office, text me, call me,
yeah,
and that's it.
yeah. So when I got there, I was like, Lord, like you, you know, you know what this is. If you feel like, Lord, give me the right, the right words. Let me say what I need to say, but from the heart and from basically like give me the words. Like let you flow through me to speak to this dude. And I go in there, I say amen. I go in there, and immediately I felt it. I'm like, all right, wow, that's a lot of power at one time that I've been missing for like 2 years. You just dropped your phone. But anyways, um, I walk into this dude's office, and I've always been, I don't like people. I don't like hanging. Like, I don't like confrontation. I really don't. And I sit up in this dude's office like I run the place. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, XYZ, this is what we do. Can you do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this? Now, mind you, I don't know nothing about electricity.
Right.
I know the basic. Don't touch it when you lick it.
Yeah.
Like, don't lick your finger and touch it. Like, I know that. That's the farthest.
Yes, you know that. We was there when you electrocuted yourself in your redo his room,
Listen.
his outlets. All you hear is, yeah, like, oh, I got it. It's simple. He goes in there and you hear like him cutting the wall piece, the this to the other. And all you hear is
Zzz, zzz. And then the lights flicker. But
It
no,
was like, yo, it was kind of like, what was that movie? Uh, Something's Vacation. Remember that movie?
yeah. But we I get the job. And I'm like, yo, blah 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 blah. I'm so excited. And then like for the week straight, like we did some stupid stuff. And we look back at that. I look back at that now and I'm like, wow, God has really moved a lot
Right.
to like where we are now. Like, yeah, we'll fast forward a little bit and we'll hit it off at the end of 2024.
Right.
And I had brought up the conversation about doing the podcast.
Meanwhile,
Uh-huh.
why was he wrong?
Why?
Because I had a drink in my hand
I sure did.
and I had a blunt in my hand.
Yep, sure did.
And he's sitting there on the couch because we had couch time. And we're sitting there, and couch time was just a way for us to decompress. And like low key, gonna bring that back.
Yeah.
Not even for the podcast,
Just
like for us.
Yeah.
For the we need that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
But we did that almost every day just to have that like right before bed, just so we had that kind of
Mhm.
woosah. Let's process our feelings of the day. Let's
Yeah.
really talk about things. And so we were doing that. He was just like, "Yeah, following God is hard, but like I'm trying." And I was like, "Yeah, good." Now at this point, I'm better.
Yeah.
I went through hell and back, literally hell, not even cursing, hell and back when it came to mental health. Um, and it was just bad. So I was out of it all, and this dude look at me
Sure did.
and say, "Hey, yeah, what's up?" And so I was like, just looking at him. So I just sat there, and way he looked at me, I was like, I already know it's gonna be some messed up something. He was like, "Hey, bud." I was like, "What?" He goes, I think that we could maybe, you know, bring the podcast back. What you think?" And I just looked at him and I was like,
You dumb, stupid.
"Stupid or dumb, huh?" And I was like, I put the drink down,
Put the blunt down.
put the blunt
No, you passed
down,
me the blunt.
and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait a minute."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh," I said, "Here you come." And yet again, I was still battling. So I said, "Here you come with this BS." Straight up.
Yep.
He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, no." I said, "You forgot the last time we did a podcast? You forgot the last time we went into ministry?" He's like, "Well, I don't know about like ministry." And I was like, "You can't take away the ministry from the podcast."
Yeah.
And he was just like, "No, no, no, no." I was like, "I'm not trying to, but like," and I said, "You gotta give me some time." I said to think about that. I said because realistically, I don't know. I was like, "I don't know, Dustin. Like things was really bad last time."
Yeah.
And he was like, "All right, well, just think about it." Da, 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 da. And I remember I'm driving home with Jasmine, and I was like, "Can you believe what he asked me?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "The nerve. The nerve." And she goes, "Okay, but you know you want to." And I said, "That's not the point. It's the nerve. Like, the nerve of him asking that." So, like, a week went by, and I called him. And I was like, "Yo." He's like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" I said, "First of all, I talk, you listen." I said, "Maybe in a world where we can put together a podcast, it can't go like this." Da, 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 da. So then we started talking about it. And Dustin's the type of person, when we start talking about something, he immediately wants to start working on it. It's just what he does. And so he was like that night or a couple nights after, I got like messages about like the logo and the this and the that and all this stuff. And it just wasn't it. Then he's like, "Hey, come over for this." And I came over and we did like the full breakdown of trying to get things up and started. and it was really like rookie, like 100% because we were out of the loop on
Yeah.
it, and it was like starting all over again.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just crazy to sit here and actually like
Yeah. To think
step
about it.
by step it.
Yeah.
And we were looking at logos and all this, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm really not feeling that logo." And I was like, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. It actually became the first picture and like and everything that we
Yeah.
had, and then I was like, I'm not a fan of it. And he's like, "Well, dude, I don't know what else to do for it." And I was like, "Look, I got I got something, but I don't know," because he was working on the website, and I was like,
No, we weren't working on the website yet. We hadn't started the web. We had
"No,
no, not when you brought up the mantle. The mantle of Spirit Ministries. That was
what
not.
were we doing? We
We
were
were
doing
doing
something."
we were doing the mantle.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't Mantle of Spirit Ministries.
Yeah.
It was the Mantle, and because kind of like it. I was like, "Yeah, the Mantle." And he was like, "Yeah,
And if
okay,
you and
the
if you
Mantle."
and if you look like real hard on a lot of our old like content, you can actually find the mantle because I was looking at YouTube yesterday. Low key forgot that it says the mantle on one of our on one of our thumbnails.
Really,
Yes.
that's crazy.
I'll have to find it and show it to you. But yeah. Now if you look like really hard, like yeah, yeah,
Easter egg.
yeah.
Uh,
There you go.
and so I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, I got this design, and I was supposed to be working on it all these years, and I just haven't gotten there yet." And
And
he
then
and he was like, I don't know, like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'll let you know, if I like it, whatever." And I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah." So I showed him it, and I'm
And
like,
this man's stupid.
"Why am I done?"
Because the moment that you showed it to me, and I was like, "Yep,
Yeah,
yep, I want that.
I want that.
That is it." Then and I mean, it's the flame. Like I have a tattoo of an anchor on me, and it literally has God, mom, and dad.
Yep,
Like God is the strong part of the anchor.
100%. And the anchor was always kind of part of it. I I was like, well, we don't have to use it." And he was like, "Don't have to use it." He's like,
And you were using
he's
it,
like, "We're using this. I want it."
and then proceeds to tell me that we still have to buy the rights to it.
Yes, I was like, "Look, it was drawn by an illustrator. And she's wonderful. Shout out Heather.
Yes,
She's wonderful, and I still have to buy it. I was supposed to buy it a long time ago. I ran into money problems, all these things. I couldn't buy it, so we ended up buying it because
$300 later.
we right $300 later because he was like, "Slide, go pay for it."
Yeah,
I was like, You're not giving me $300."
I did
And he was like, "You're right. I'm giving the ministry $300."
exactly.
And
I was proud about that too.
he's like, "That's not for you. It's for Jesus."
Exactly.
I was like, "All right." So we got that going, and then like we planned episode 1 over and over and over and over
15
and over again.
times.
15 times we recorded. And so I don't even know what time it is. What was it?
Hmm?
What time is it?
What?
What's our clock?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. We were
Anyway, so we were like over and over and over and over and again, and God, intervened. So that's because we were going through that in real time, you guys.
yes.
Real time. I mean,
We
like,
didn't really start getting an understanding on
of
where this
what was going on.
on until I mean really until Spiritual Warfare the series came out.
100%. And
I mean that was only 2 series ago. You're going to be bold.
bold.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then like things are going crazy. His members in his family have never liked me, and still kind of feel some kind of way toward me and all these things, and they're talking about like he's dumb for doing this and this, that, and the other, and Miguel's not a good influence, and all these things, and then God tells Dustin to quit his job with a
Well,
pregnant wife on the way.
okay. Listen. So it was.
And
Yeah. No. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was. It was a fire, but quit.
right.
Like
So
it
like
was.
Dustin, listen, okay. I don't want to say he gets it from me, but like he kind of gets it from me. When I'm done with a job,
Mm,
and this is bad. Don't do this. It's not Christ like. This is before. But like when I'm done with a job, I let you know with the job. First of all, I learned a long time ago because I got into um management, and most of my jobs I've been in management at, and I always work my behind off in the first couple months, so that way they can be like, "Holy crap, this kid work." Yeah, make me manager because I'm not the person you tell what to do,
yeah.
especially if you don't know what to do. I can take instruction, I can take good instruction, and I can take criticism, but I ain't no like, hey, do this, do this, do this because you don't want to do it. No, that's not who I am. And as a manager, I don't ask my team to do anything that I don't do myself. Um, but so like just from a manager's point of view, and so like for instance, we were at Lowe's and what's his name came up to me. He was like, "Hey, we need you to find this." I looked at him. I said, "That's not my job." I said, "You do. There's nowhere you pay me to do that." No, but we need to find that's front desk job. I'm pretty sure I'm millwork.
Yeah.
Well, they can't find it. I said, "Sounds like their problem." I said, "No, it's already almost 9 o'clock. I still got a whole department to clean. I'm not sitting here 11 o'clock at night playing with you." And so because of that, and Dustin saw that in me quite often.
Yeah.
Uh, Dustin got to the point where he was just like, "Yo, you gonna fire me or what?
Yeah.
Like, you mad?
Yeah.
Because I'll leave right now. Say the
Yeah.
word, I'll find another job. Because that's how it always is. Oh God, I will always get another job.
Yeah.
Don't you be sad for Miguel.
Yeah.
Miguel got a job the moment he leave here
Mm-hmm.
with somebody. Like I remember when it was crazy. I got fired from Starbucks. I got fired, and guess what? When I got fired that same day, I got a job at Dunkin' Donuts. Don't play me. Like, and you know what's crazy is the boss from Starbucks drank drank Dunkin' Donuts.
Oof.
And so you saw me at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning in the back. 5 o'clock comes, window open. She right there on her way to work, and she said, "Hello." I said, "I'll be 672. Hello." She said, "Miguel." I said, "Oh yeah, I switch teams like that." I love Starbucks, but now the world runs on Dunkin'. I don't know. They can sign my checks.
Yeah. No.
So like I he always saw that, and so that's how you were. Like he was just like going back and forth. He calls me. He's like, "Yo, I'm like," yet again. He always called me in school. If I didn't pick up, he's like, "Hey, let me know when you can call me." So I called him. He was like, "Dude,
I've had it.
I've had it. I'm done." And I'm like, "Okay, well, listen, hey Dustin, you can't really quit because you need a job." And he's like, "That's not why I called you." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Well, no, that's why I called you, but that's not why I called you." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, I don't think God want me to work." And I was like, "Okay, hold on, calm down, calm down. That sounds a little too convenient. Is this just a bad morning? Did you not want to work today?" And you were like, "I quit right now. Tomorrow I sleep all day." Like, because we all get there, buddy. And he's like, "No, like he's like, I don't have time for anything when it comes to God ministry." He's like, "I don't know how we're ever gonna do this if if I'm working this kind of jobs, because I work for substitute teaching.
Yeah.
I could take the day off when I want to.
Yeah.
I didn't have to work every day. I make my own schedule. Um, I only worked until 2 in the afternoon because then school's out. Like, so, like, I was fine. He's like, you have the time. He's like, I don't have the time for any of it, and I want to really get into it. And he did. He quit.
Well, quit. Yeah, quit.
He quit.
Well, I don't know because like on the paperwork it said that they fired me, so like I didn't technically to them they fired me, but to me,
He
I
said they didn't know I was walking my heavy butt in there saying goodbye.
either way. Um,
But you did. You did. You told them that today was your last day.
yeah,
You went in that office because they were like, "Well, we're gonna have to figure out you because we're not sure about this and this, that, and the other. So we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with you." And he was like, "That's fine. Today's my last day."
yeah.
They're like, "What?"
Well, you're fired.
Yeah, and they're like, "No, you're fired." He's like, "All right, I'm going home."
Yeah, straight up.
And so he came and he freaked out. That was the first time I've seen you freak out about a job. And because the realization came of
I just
God doesn't want, one, my wife is pregnant.
yeah,
Two, how do I tell my wife God doesn't want me looking for a job?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and her being the wonderful person that she is,
yeah.
and she's believed in the ministry um
Since day one.
since day one. She's always believed in it. She's always known that we were going to do ministry together.
Yeah,
She look. I may not be able to put the dishes back in the same place 24/7 because well, common ain't all that common. Sometimes sense to stay be all that common sometimes, and uh, but like when it comes to ministry and her encounter with me the first time, she just knew.
yeah,
And then on top of that, she got to a place where she came back to the Lord herself, and she got to this a trusting place with Him, and she was like, "Lord," I think out of all of us, she was like, "I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I guess you're gonna have to do it."
yeah.
And
She was the one true person that said, "Hey, like either anything that happens, like
right,
we gonna figure it
like
out."
it's gonna figure it out. And I told me and Cassidy had a conversation about it, and she was just like, "I'm a little nervous." She's like, "I'm not gonna lie, I am a little nervous."
Yeah,
She said, "But I," she said, "It God's God." She
yeah,
said, "And I don't know what He's doing." And she's like, "And I can't say that it doesn't scare me a little." She's like, "But like, if He's saying it, then like, she's like, what are we gonna do? Tell Him no?"
yeah,
And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "No, you're right." And so, then, boy, spiritual warfare segment that we did when people was just going crazy, and God said He was going through a storm, and everyone just saying don't do it and this, that, and the other. And he was like, "I'm standing on business."
yeah.
Is what like
Listen, people. I just want you to know that we this ministry when the moment that me and you realized that God this is what God wanted us to do full time, everybody has came against us. And
y'all don't even know.
there's shout out to the people that have stuck with us.
What
Friends,
what?
yes, friends, family, the people that have actually stayed with us and supported what we were doing, knowing that they didn't even understand and they didn't know, but I don't know, but I know you gonna do it right, and I got faith that you gonna put put your heart where it needs to go,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we look back at that, and it's crazy to believe like God took us from a John Doe, nobody really know us to there's a lot. I
Like
mean, we've published 36 official
official
episodes.
episodes. And listen, y'all, during this time as we're doing this, right?
Hmm.
The food in the house.
Oh yes, no food. About to lose a couch.
About to lose a
Listen.
What? About to lose a washer and a dryer.
About to lose electricity.
About to lose electricity.
And the moment I said, Lord, I don't know, but you gonna have to figure this one out.
and the Lord said, pray. And I said, okay. So I stood up. I walked over to Dustin. I said, Dustin, let's pray about it. And he's like breathing in and out real fast because, like, at this point, like, he's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like tears in his eyes, but he's not like sad crying. He's more like angry because he doesn't know what to do, and the back is against the wall. And he told me, he was like, I don't know what he's gonna do,
But he
if
better
he's
do
gonna
it.
do it. He needs to do it
Now.
because I don't know what else to do. So he needs to just go ahead and do it because I don't know what else to do. And I was like, all right, cool. So man, we all stood in the living room
And we all
and
prayed.
we all prayed. And I was like, Lord, if you gonna move,
You gotta move now.
you gotta move now. Like, Lord, we gonna speak you into the situation. And Lord, we are going to just trust and believe.
Yeah.
We don't know what you're doing. And at the time,
We didn't care what he was doing.
we didn't right. My teaching, my substitute teaching was out the window because like nobody, like none of the schools on this end of town, for some dumb reason, wasn't like, which is great for the school because like when teachers go to school, they it's great for the school. But when teachers don't go to school, it's great for me because then I have a job. But all the jobs were on the other side of town, and the jobs that I was getting was only for a few days. And then there were some jobs that I would schedule, and they would straight up unschedule me from them. And next morning, I was not on any schedule.
Yeah.
And so we were just going through it. I said, Lord, you just got to move. Lord, I don't know what to do. We run it like
We run it. We're
running out
doing.
of, like, we have no running out. We had no funds.
Yeah.
The-
With, like electricity
No
wasn't getting
offense.
paid.
Anytime that I got a check, I would make sure that I would help them out. And I was just like, yeah, here's what I got. And what I got was barely anything too. So it was just like,
About to lose a car.
right, about to lose a car. Like everything was
Truck was breaking down.
Like,
Listen, I'll keep naming them.
that's it. We were going through it. We're like, God, if you gonna move, then you gonna move. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what's going on. And so we prayed. We probably prayed for like a good 15 minutes. And we're just praying, and just like, just to calm everybody's nerves. And I was like, look, when y'all go to bed, y'all need to pray. Just to pray. So pray.
Man, let me tell you.
Come the next morning.
Yeah. God said, "Watch this."
God
So-
said, look what I can do.
Ew.
Right.
He literally said, no, hold on. Before I get there, I get a phone call from the people that were renting the couch from the financial company about the washer and dryer. Get a phone call for the couch, and we pay off the washer and dryer, and get that paid off, and the sweetheart, and God bless her because she did not knock my faith that day. She's like, I don't understand what is happening right now. She said, but we gonna do this.
Yeah.
And
To the point, guys, she came home in tears. Remember that?
who?
Your wife
Yeah. Oh yeah.
came home in tears,
Yeah.
terrified of what God was doing and what God was talking about. God was telling us to move.
Yeah.
And then she was like, move. We can't afford what we have now. How are we going to move?
Yeah.
And terrified. And this
He-
is where I want that t-shirt. And y'all going to see it. I can't. Well, I'm going to say it anyway. Where it was like, Jesus is contagious, pass it on.
Oh yeah.
Because she went and She's like, you know what? She knew what she needed to do.
Yeah.
Even though she didn't feel it in her heart, she knew what she needed to do. And so she went and she asked you to get her Bible supplies.
Mm-hmm.
She locked herself in her room and she just bore all her feelings into the word and into prayer and into God. And she came out and she was like,
I'm happy.
we can do this.
Yep.
I'm happy. It's fine.
And then the next morning we get a phone. So we get a phone call for about the couch, and the sweet lady on the phone. She said, "Well, honey, we gonna push this. We're gonna take your payment that you've already made. We're gonna put it towards the next payment, to where you don't have to pay for a whole month,
Yeah.
and you get to keep your couch." This was the financial manager,
Yeah.
the like main person, and I boo-hoo cried. I straight up did, and I cried on the phone with her,
Yeah.
and she didn't understand it. And I said, "Ma'am, like you don't know
You
what
don't
you just
understand what I'm going
like literally." And that was the moment that I was like, "All right, God, like we in this
Like
to
it's
be
for
in
real,
this."
for real.
Yeah,
Like you with it. And we started 15.
hour 15.
Um,
I care. I have to edit. It's fine. It's working.
but yeah.
I don't remember where that's gonna be, but anyways,
Um, that was crazy. But yeah, and so then we start to get really serious about it. It's like what y'all don't know is that meanwhile, what y'all don't know, we're talking about the spiritual warfare. We're talking about praying in times of uncertainty. We're talking about anger. We're talking about trauma. We're talking about all these things, and everything is coming to light. I mean, God is exposing everybody and everything. God, I mean, I've already exposed it to you guys, before, but I was SA as a child and growing up, and for those instances, and like I'm not like a feely touchy person, and that put strain on my relationship and this, that, and the other. And even, like God's like, how you gonna people without like people in, dude? And he made like the truth come out in me, and like of why I was like that, the trauma I was carrying, and still little Miguel was, carrying around burdens. Then episodes later, God made Dustin out his mouth start talking about his trauma,
yeah, that
broke
was yeah,
broke him, and God was blowing up things, and it felt like such a chaotic storm.
yeah.
Like things everywhere. We're like, yeah, thank you, God, but
What was the
why is
point?
everything popping up at like at one time? Man, we don't have a break. We're constantly stressed. We're this, that, the other. Dustin's, fighting, like spending time with his family.
Mhm.
And he's like, man, all I do is just sit in front of these screens, and this, that, and the other, and it finally hit a climax. It finally just popped. And so fast forward to 36 episodes in,
Mhm.
and we're sitting here and we're planning things.
We're
And
planning. It started off as planning for the the next series.
the next series, oh my goodness, and the next series, guys, the next series wouldn't come out. The one that we had planned before this past one, God said that wasn't for them, that was for you guys. And I was like, okay, that's for us. And so then we started coming out with another one, and then that wasn't getting recorded. We kept running out of time, and
Yeah.
we're God had opened up uh Dustin's lawn care business, and so I'm helping him, and like we're trying to do the lawns when we're trying to rush back to come home and do research, and then record, and then fast here, and then pray here, and we're just like, this is too much, too busy. And so we're sitting here yesterday,
Mhm.
and we're putting up a schedule. Like you guys know, I have the book coming out. Um,
Don't get into that too much. We
we
got
got
no, not right now.
got to
Not right
you
now.
got to
No, not right now.
do a little bit.
Not all of it, because there's we can't release all of it.
What can we release?
Big. I'll tell you later.
Look at me. How
We
are
talk.
supposed to
We talking.
know?
We talking about season 2. We talking about season 2 right now. We going.
No, I'm not talking about season 2. I'm talking about publishing house.
You can't talk about the book.
I can,
Not
just the
yet.
general aspect of it.
Listen.
So,
All
we're-
I'm. Mm,
so you guys know I'm writing. They know I'm writing a book.
yes, they know that.
They know it's called Royal Blood.
Mm-hmm.
They know it's Christian fantasy, right? You
Yeah.
gotta look at me. I'm testing my limits. I'm like, look at this man, like, right? So you guys know that. So we're building a publishing house around it because I just believe we should keep Christian faith stuff, and I think it's an extension of ministry and all these things. And so we're looking at it, we're planning all this stuff and doing all this, and we realize we're not the same people anymore.
Yeah.
And we realize we're not the same ministry anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, this is a very relaxed episode, to be honest, but like,
And it's gonna be a long episode because yeah, we've been sitting here for an hour and 15 minutes. But I think it's a nice send off.
yeah, absolutely. And because what God is trying to do, God is revamp, like He told you, He's revamping the ministry. We're revamping that. We're dropping the publishing house. You guys are gonna get a pre-order soon.
Okay. You gonna
Y-
cut it off there.
Yeah.
All the next stuff you're gonna cut that off. That's no more.
Soon you'll be able to, get the book when it comes out. And so like all this great things is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we just realized we've outgrown the very relaxed two people
In a podcast.
and a podcast. And where God is using us as a full-time ministry now. We are engaging in bigger things and be allowed to be in a part of bigger things, legal things, and we are growing very, very,
Very
very, very,
quickly.
very, very quickly. We got a team now; it's not just us anymore, and so yeah, God's doing beautiful and great things. So this will be the last time that you hear from us on this side of the mantle.
Yes.
Uh,
But don't get us wrong. You guys will be getting updates. Stay
Updates. We're
tuned.
gonna have actual video on
Yes.
social media of like behind the scenes, so you can see what we're kind of working on. I'm gonna request this. If you think you know Mantle of the Spirit Ministries, think again.
Yeah.
God has completely changed the structure of this ministry moving forward. We are bolder. We are
We're coming. So basically, like I said earlier in this episode that we would touch more on this, but when he says bold, not only are we bold in the faith and bold in our words, but we're bold in what we stand on
that's it.
and our faith. And
And
did I say face or faith?
faith.
Did I say
I think you
faith?
said faith. Yeah,
Faith.
I
Okay.
heard faith.
Okay. So um we're standing on 10 toes. I mean, we're not backing down. I
Nope.
mean, God is what we believe in, and I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, there's thousands other podcasts out there.
Yes.
And so we don't, you don't have to. If you don't like the fact that we're moving in this, this way, then that's okay.
Then-
Like you're
then-
entitled. You're entitled to that.
But with this, we're small, but we're here.
Yeah.
And Mantle of Spirit Ministries is diving into some deep things that is going to open up new pathways
Yeah.
for the gospel to be spread.
You gotta say
It's
here.
not
I'm
your
on.
average. We're not your average church.
Yeah.
Crazy, because if you remember,
God just did some things in your mind, didn't he? Listen, I just want to say at the fact that at the end of the day, we're going to stand on business 10 toes. And the fact of we are switching from being two guys on a podcast to a whole ministry that has a podcast. It's gonna have sermons. It's gonna have everything. Um, but that is for season 2, and we have a lot of great things that are due in season 2 that I feel like is really gonna pop off, that people are gonna like, including yourself. And we have a lot more things that we want to talk about, but we can't right now
Right.
because of the fact we need to polish it. And that's a lot of what's going to be happening in season 2. You're going to have a lot more polished look on YouTube. You're going to have a lot more polished look on
Media
on
platforms.
yes, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
You will see the face of the face and heart of the ministry.
Yeah. And we're coming into big dog house and saying, "Hey, I'm little dog, but I'm here and I'm standing
I
on
got a
10
mic.
toes." Literally. Like I'm little dog, but I'm going to stand 10 toes.
Exactly. It's, we just hope. We thank you guys for those of you who have stuck with us. We know there's a couple of you who are constantly downloading the content, and I
Yes.
appreciate
We
you.
yes, we
And
do.
just know, because God is moving the numbers up, and we are seeing growth 100%. Um, it doesn't have to be rocket speed. It doesn't have to be all
Yeah.
this, that, the other. We'd rather move slow and actually have a change in somebody's life. So for those of you who are consistent with it, for those of you who who look toward our episodes and you download, you listen, you're the reason why we do this.
Mhm.
God will leave the 99 for the one, and I don't care if there's one person on here who constantly downloads our content. We will be there for that one person, and we
Yep.
will keep sharing things to that one person.
Yep.
If I gotta preach, to an empty room, we'll speak black to an empty room. It's okay.
Yeah.
And so just
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 I want to say this really
yeah,
quick. Just know that everything in season 2 and moving forward is 1000% polished.
yeah,
And I think that's what God meant earlier by the time what how much time we're going to have.
yeah,
Like, as you know, as we say here, I'm looking at that not just for myself, cuz like we said earlier, like I've battled with not being able to spend time with my family as much. I think God has opened up a door saying, "Hey, I'm going to leave this key right here on the doormat until you're ready, and then I'm going to remove the doormat
right,
and for you to pick up that key and unlock that door." And I really think that God has unlocked that door for us. I think that, or has removed the doormat and said, "Hey, pick up that key and unlock that door."
yeah,
And having more time and having a more polished look at the end of the day.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
we don't know how season. We still got a lot of things on season 2 that we're going to come out with later on, including Mantle Spirit Publishing House. We have a timeline written down,
We gonna
and
see you July 1st.
yes, with some other updates
We
throughout.
bring you updates. We'll let you know when our schedule is.
Hmm.
We're gonna let you know everything. And I do think I'm gonna say this just to say this. I think we're gonna do some kind of online special type of things when we do come back. I think we're gonna come back big, and celebrate everything. And so as you guys see updates, we will come back, talk about it
Hmm.
in season 2. So
Yes,
until then, let's pray out as always.
you want to do it?
Yes, dear Lord, we thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity and the opportunity that we have to just be a part of your kingdom and to have the opportunity to run a ministry that is true to your word and to uh, reach people and help people and nurture people, Lord, through biblical truths, Lord. We thank you so much for where we have come. We thank you for the road that you're taking us on. And I pray, for guidance, and I pray that when we do come back, that it will be such a roar um, from our mouth, Lord, that it would be bold and it would be strong for you, Lord, that it would be able to reach the masses, and that we can have revival uh, within our country, Lord, and that we can return our hearts back to you, Lord. We pray that you would be with our listeners and help us to connect with them more on a deeper level if they're going through anything. We ask that you reveal yourself and you manifest um, to them in the way that they need, Lord. That you are a provider for those who need to be provided for. That you are a healer to those who need healing, Lord. That you are peace in people's storms, and Lord, that we ask that you be able to draw close to your people during this time as we pray and we fast and we bring back righteousness to a lost generation. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.